Everybody knows my dad?
Yeah.
Give him a hug.
He's been waiting for you.
This is the next performance.
So
we get going?
is this one, can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Can
now?
you turn him up?
Turn him up.
Turn him up.
Turn him up.
I can't hear him.
Okay, now you can. Okay, here we
Can I just say hello to everybody?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Wow. Who was in San Rafael? Anybody? You were. All right, one. Okay, cool. All right, Torben. Well, thanks for coming. This is kind of cool. We we're gonna make this very loose, kind of fun, a little impulsive. We don't have this scripted. So just kind of bear with us. It's supposed to be fun.
I'm going to put my script away then.
Yeah.
Put your script away. Okay.
You told me to write a really strict script. Okay. All right.
And thanks for coming and making me feel good about this, because I don't have any crazy cars or any crazy fucking horror figures, or I don't surf and I don't do any of that stuff. I just love movies. It's that simple. So
Honestly, don't surf.
this may be the least glamorous tent here, but at least there's a nice level of intimacy, right?
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Least glamorous.
But Stefan's not going near any of the other ones, right? Promise me?
The Met Club tent is the
And my
only
dad
one.
is not going to be near any of the other tents either. All right. So who wants to go next?
Steph wants to.
Stefan wants to go next.
I just, before we get into talking about the film that is going to be shown, Torben's film, I just want to say a couple of words about Torben. Known Torben for a long, long time, and it's been a wonderful friendship. He's got a great presence, he's got a great energy, and I think that what you will see in this clip is a presence and an energy and something that's open enough for anyone to take from it what they want to take from it, you know? And I think it's pretty important that you just allow yourself to sit back, chill out, take from it what you will. There's no right or wrong, none of it. As Lars says, unscripted.
This is as far from Men in Black 3 as we can get. Trust me.
But I will say it's probably one of the greater moments for you to kind of get in tune with where your mind and your body and movement and motion all work together. But I didn't make it. Torben and Molly did. So, Mr. T, if you would.
Just a few words. Can we get this up? Can you hear me down there? Okay. Okay. So this is a film that it's called Before the Wall. Before the Wall, and this before is in some sense is essential just to understand, because there's some beforeness to everything. It seems there is. Before tonight, for instance, before Metallica start, they will also warm up, and you can say that this film is about ball playing, and that we had made in France many years ago, many years ago, a film about playing at the wall. And so this film in some sense means play before the wall. In other words,
That's
let's
playing
say
tennis.
that, yeah.
Playing
So-
tennis, right?
So in terms of ball playing, and specifically in terms of tennis playing, but even if you were thinking, if you watch some of the soccer games lately, or the basketball, everybody warms up. So in that sense, there is a kind of beforeness to these things. And this film is about beforeness. And let's say if you have a match or a basketball game or something, before that maybe you've warmed up, before that maybe the day before you've been in the gym, before that maybe you've been out running, or on a treadmill or something, and before that you've done so. In tennis also sometimes, at least in the old days, you could go before the wall and hit some balls. And we were talking just before the show here that if this is a show, then we talked before the show, and then we said that in soccer too, that to be before the wall and kick some stuff up against the wall,
Sharpening your tool.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And so, but there's also something before that wall, and it is when there's no ball, but let's say you're taking steps, or let's say if you have a stick or something like this, you can say, okay, now I'm on the left foot, right now I'm on the right foot or something, and here's a kind of verticality, if you will, an uprightness, keeping a balance, one leg or whatever you have, and then here's the horizontal aspect of that. So this film is a little bit about that beforeness, and so it's called Before the Wall, and because that before was referring to this film that was before, but it also means before going to the wall, you do some warm-up things like that, or you go down here, you keep your balance, you go on one foot, whatever it is that you're doing. So in the beginning here, it's about, the first thing you hear is about breathing, because before you do any of these things, to be alive, you have to breathe. So there's also a kind of a beforeness that deals with breathing. So the first thing you hear, if you hear anything at all, it's about breathing. So everything is a little slow because we focus on the breathing, and then if you fall asleep now and breathe deeply, that's good too, And then Lars will wake you up about 7 seconds into the 7 minutes into the first part. Then Lars comes out and he plays a drum set that has pitches all relating to one tennis ball that Lars is hitting, and that's why we think it's interesting and why you should maybe know about it, because I feel personally, and some sense has nothing to do with whether we are related or he is the son and I'm the father, but I still think that relative to Metallica, to hear him do this stuff himself, and when we get closer to the second part where you see him, and we went over to Bob Rock's place in Hawaii, in Maui, and made this. We'll talk about that a little later, but here first you can breathe with this film, and everything is very slow, because I also wanted it to be a kind of a slowness there, relating to many instruction films, that go to you're ready, okay, here we go, boom, down, take it on, bring it on to the day. So here's kind of.
Can I just say two things? Number one, now you know where I get my long-windedness from. And I mean that with nothing but love. And number two, I would just like to state for the record that I believe this is the first festival in the world where the word beforeness has ever been uttered. Okay, so just we're off to a pretty special start here. Follow that.
I think we should roll.
Follow that horror tent.
So we should roll it, I don't think, and we should probably move our chairs out of the way so we're not in the film. So,
Jesus.
In that
Barbara, move my chair. Oh, Jesus! Come on,
man.
Red, are you ready?
Okay, did we cross the line already? We haven't even started yet.
There are no lines.
Wow. God, I thought you could handle anything here.
The enigma of being alive, indeed. I would imagine there's got to be some questions about that segment. And
I would just say that that last beat, that was not on the film. That was in
everyone was staying.
I think it's Atlantic City beep or something, maybe wherever that came from.
Can I just say one thing, in case, because I know some of you guys maybe joined us later. Obviously, just to carve it out in stone, that what you're watching was the beginning, the first 7 minutes and the last 7 minutes of a film that's how long? An hour. So, an hour and change. So if anybody's interested in watching the whole film, right, they can go to beforethewall.com, and that's torbenulrich.com. torbenulrich.com.
Yeah,
What? Here. Available on Amazon, and it's probably not even available on Amazon. Is it available on Amazon? It's probably the only film ever made not available on Amazon. But check on Amazon. If not, go to TorbjornUlrich.com or BeforeTheWall.com. I'll take my selling hat off.
And then not to sell anything, but just to explain. Here's the Black Album.
What?
Here's the Black Album. So.
Team Ulrich, going for it.
So that so just to say that we're working on a continuation still to this day of this project here, and it's called Before the Call. This one was called Before the Wall, and since we are very poetic, we can rhyme it, and we say Before the Call. And before the call here means a little bit before it gets to be a score, if you will, so that we're still sort of in the realm of that. Sort of before everything, so it's still kind of a film. It's the black beforeness here.
Wow. I didn't even know that. That's an Orion exclusive for you.
Oh.
The other thing I just want to say, again on a serious note, that, if you don't all behave and think good thoughts, the next Metallica record may very well sound like that. And you know what you're going to be longing for then? Lou Reed.
We lasted 45 minutes without mentioning Lou Reed. Well done, congratulations. I liked it. I don't care what anyone says. Anyway, question.
Any questions?
Well, it's extremely helpful to have. It's extremely helpful to have someone who's actually affiliated with the film at the film when you're viewing it, rather than if you watch something and later you read some critics' interpretation of it, you don't really know what to do with it. It's better to actually have people who were involved tell you kind of what they intended, so then you can skip the ruminating and kind of get into it. And I'm kind of wondering exactly if I'm kind of off the mark, then it's not you, it's me. But are you trying to say, like, are you trying to draw sort of it's supposed to be like a symmetry between like how life is, and then you're saying that the preparation for the sport is kind of the same way, like all the parts of life kind of mirror this kind of thing, and then even music too is that way, that you can kind of find a metaphor for life in the.
I think so, yeah. And also, of course, you could say that the further back you go from that specific scene, whether you're a scientist, a musicologist, or whatever you are, when you go back, you come down to sort of the kitchen sink that we all share, soap and water or something, right? Or breathing, or standing, or lying down or something. In that sense, I think it is going back and back and back, but that's not to negate that there is a field there which is specific, right? There's a heavy metal music scene, maybe, whatever, if we call it that. And there's, there's Wimbledon, there's
How we feeling today? No, you're hungover, you know it. A little bit. And your voices sound like mine, a little beat up, which is good, because we're alive, and today is another great day for Orion Festival. Appreciate you coming down early to check out one of my new favorite bands from Sweden. And it's never too early for scary, all right? Please welcome from Sweden, Ghost!
I just wanted to know, when was the actual first time you and Lars met, and what were the circumstances? How did that come about?
Sure. Well, I had gone to see Michael Schenker played at a venue in LA called the Country Club in, I think it was December of 1980. Yeah, awesome. So the Country Club was, I mean, in LA you had the Whiskey and the Roxy and, you know, all those clubs that you probably have all heard of. But there was one in the Valley where I lived in the Valley, and actually our first office ended up being across the street from the Country Club, which was awesome for parties after. But it was this really big venue, probably about 1,000 seats, and there had a balcony. There was a really amazing venue. Still one of my all-time favorite places to see shows, because the sound was great, big stage, you could fit a lot of people in there. It was amazing. Everybody played. They're all traveling bands, local bands, and everything. So anyway, so at that show, my friend who we mentioned earlier, John Cornarens, the other of the 3 people in LA that knew about the new Everybody's New Metal at the time, he saw a kid in the parking lot after the Michael Schenker show wearing a Saxon European t-shirt. Now in 1980 in LA, nobody knew who Saxon was, let alone would be wearing a European t-shirt in Saxon.
Which is criminal, incidentally, I think. Nobody knew Saxon. No, I'm very serious. Biff was a god, right?
Oh, amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Fruit basket in the pants and all.
Yeah.
Didn't matter.
Saxon was amazing. So anyway, he ran up to this kid and said, "Where'd you get that t-shirt?" He said, "Well, I just moved here from Denmark." And he goes, "Oh, you gotta meet my friend Brian too," because we started talking about Do Everybody Shave Metal. So the next day he came over to my house and started listening to records and started hanging out, because, you know, for him, coming all the way from Denmark and being in LA and not thinking that anybody's going to know the music he was really into, finding somebody that was into it was amazing. And same thing for myself, just, wow, there's somebody actually knows about this stuff other than me. So it was fun. So we became really good friends, and as we mentioned, the record store story, driving all around trying to find stuff. I remember too, one of my favorite stories for me, I was over at his house, and he used to have a drum set. It was just not put together, just pieces sitting in the corner of his bedroom. And he always
hadn't found Fleming at that point.
No, way earlier than that. So he always used to say, "Yeah, I'm going to start a band." We're like, "Yeah, sure, right, Lars. Yeah, sure. My
most unlikely friend to become rock star in your
Absolutely. I mean, look, none of us back then thought any of this stuff would ever happen, even when they started the band. Like, who would have thought all of this insanity would go on? But yeah, I never would have pegged him as being a rock star that he is today. But he's still the same guy, though.
This is our last song. All two of them. That's all we know. Actually, it's not our last song. Because Tony and Ashley will continue the journey. But let me change. We got our cheat sheets right here. Ashley's got hers, so show them your cheat sheet.
This is all parts of the song.
Yeah, that's mine. Oh, well. No.
Anyway.
Wow. Well, this is a very serious film.
Sorry.
We're trying. Okay.
Shall I sit over here with my notes?
Should we cut the comedy off? Or
Yeah,
should we just
you
keep
introduce
being
it.
silly?
It is
What?
about you. It's a mission to Lars.
God help us all. Okay, well, let's try. Hang on. Okay. Hi. This is very serious.
Good afternoon.
No. So first, we should say that we rolled Mission to Lars yesterday, which was great, and we had the two directors, Will and.
We had James and Will Spicer. Well, James is not a Spicer, but Will is a Spicer, and he made the film with his sister Kate about their brother
I was
Tom.
going to say all that. I just couldn't remember the other dude's name.
Sorry.
Okay, so Will and
Kate.
No, the other dude that was
James.
Here
He lived
Will
at the
and
Tottenham
James. Jesus, you're not a great sidekick.
James
You're supposed to agree with everything I say and think I'm funny. Okay, okay. Ed McMahon.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I thought you wanted me to laugh at that. I don't know.
So
when-
we'll try again.
when do I
We'll
laugh?
try again.
Okay.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Mission to Lars, the last showing in the Hit the Lights film tent. It's been a fucking great couple of days. I may finally have completely lost my mind, or what was left of it.
Come on, we've got to have a round of applause for that. He's lost his mind!
Wow. Good thing I don't have to play a full show tonight. Oh shit.
What?
We'll try again. Take 4. Hi, welcome to Vision to Lars. Yesterday we had the film's 2 directors, Will and James here yesterday, and unfortunately Will just had a baby a couple 3 days ago, and he had to go back and see the fucking baby. I can't believe that, I can't believe this guy's priorities. We're gonna have a talk with him about that. But so today there are no directors here. They were here yesterday, and it's just Stefan and I, and as you can see we're off to a pretty nutty start. But in all seriousness, you're about to see a really, really wonderful film. It's deep, it's heartfelt, it's very cool, and it stars a great, great guy whose name is Tom, who I met a couple years ago. So you may know a little bit about this. Tom has Fragile X syndrome and lives in a home in England, and happens to be a huge Metallica fan. And his brother and his sister have realized that they really don't have a lot of a relationship with Tom, and they basically want to get closer to Tom. So they set out, they come up with the idea of going on a road trip together. So anybody here with siblings or family, obviously we all know that road trips can bond us closer together, but also create some maybe unexpected friction or little crazy, what's a Chevy Chase kind of moments, right? On these type of road trips. But long story short, his sister, Tom's sister and brother, they basically set up this road trip where their mission is to find yours truly, and Tom has some sort of fascination with me. And so
I think at this point,
leave that one alone.
Would you like to share who Tom's other fascination in life has been? Because I think it's brilliant.
Yesterday we learned in the Q&A with the film's directors that before me,
the only other fascination he's ever had.
Yeah, before me, his big fascination was
Mr. T. I think there's a very clear lineage between Mr. T and Lars.
Right, so Tom started with Mr. T and is now working his way down to me, which is fair enough. But so anyway, long story short, this is really this is a film about a road trip. This is a film about family. This is a film about dreams. It's a film about
relationships. I think like all the films you've chosen over the weekend, and I've said this a few times, I think it's great that everything you've chosen, and this as much as any, is about relationships, and how you really need to check into the relationships you have and make sure they are as good as you might think they are, and if they're not, you need to think about that. I mean,
you should speak more.
You're good.
You're kind.
We can speak together, but thank you.
So is there anything else we should say about the film?
I don't think so, other than, it is about relationships.
I
think it's very important to look beyond Tom. Tom is the obvious main character, but there's a lot of other subtle stuff going on, which I think is super cool.
It's a really cool film. And also I'd say that it's been playing in theaters in England for the last few weeks. It's gotten great reviews. People love this film. People really connect with the story, obviously. But yesterday we were fortunate enough to have the U.S. premiere, the North America premiere even. So today is the second time this film is being shown in North America. So be psyched about that.
Do you know if it's going to get is it getting a release soon? Do we know that? Did we between us manage to conjure that question?
Everybody that's here today are gonna go out on Twitter and Facebook and all that shit, and you're gonna fucking word of mouth and all that shit, and then hopefully we'll be playing in a theater near you at some point. If not, I'll send each of you DVDs. How's that? Cool. All right then. That you can share with your friends, because obviously you don't see the film. So the only other thing I should say is that I've got a bunch of other stuff I have to do, including a full Metallica rock show in about 2 hours. I gotta go write a set list. Does anybody have any suggestions? What? Am I evil?
Here's a really, really good one.
How about
one at a time?
Does anybody? How about? how about the North American premiere of the Blackout? Yeah. And then maybe we'll,
can I ask one
we'll
question?
play Escape again.
I was thinking the same. I was going to ask. All right, we're here. Have we got a minute? How was it? How was it playing Escape?
Well, let's ask them. How was Escape?
No. How was it playing Escape? How was it playing Escape? How did it feel?
It was long overdue.
Long overdue. You enjoyed it?
It's great, yeah.
Because James is a little bit reluctant.
Oh, he's just playing.
Was he playing along? He wasn't kidding. He never joked.
Silly James.
Was he being silly and goofy?
He was just being silly.
Goofy, silly little James.
But thanks for singing along on that intro of Freight into Sanity, by the way. That was a nice one. But anyway, so say again. Which one? Freight in its entirety. Good thing we have 2 hours to learn it then. All right, that's it. What should we do with all our spare time?
Show another movie. Sorry.
Whiplash. Gotcha. Sanitarium. Okay. Which one? Load. Mama said. Yeah, Mama said.
All right.
I hear every one of you, and I will make it all happen. We're gonna go on at 8, and we're gonna play till about 4 in the morning. Okay.
There's 2 cameras that just recorded that, dude.
Erase. Just go back 30 seconds and go over that. Thanks. So.
Let's just do the harmony and misery. Let's just do the.
Never again.
Hey, congratulations to us and everyone in our camp for pulling off a friggin' killer weekend.
That's right.
Orion is like our backyard dream, man.
It's our
own
kingdom.
festival. Who would have thought, man? I hope it's able to continue. Whether it does or not, the spirit will live on in these people out here and the bands that have played here, all right?
Yeah.
So let's go out and show them what we do. Our crew has taught them how to be a good crew, and we're gonna show them how to be a good fucking band, all right?
Right.
Kick their asses.
Yeah.